Today we're cooking a hearty and traditional dish, borscht. Let's start with the ingredients. You'll need 1 pound of beef with bone, like shank or short ribs. For the vegetables, gather 2 large beets, 1 large carrot, 1 large potato, 1 medium onion, and a small head of cabbage. You'll also need 2 cloves of garlic, 1 bay leaf, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, 1 tablespoon of vinegar or lemon juice, 4 cups of beef broth or water, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil, and salt and pepper to taste. For garnish, have some fresh dill and sour cream ready. As for equipment, make sure you have a large pot, a knife and cutting board, a grater, a skillet, and a ladle. The prep time is about 30 minutes, and the cook time will range from 1.5 to 2 hours, totaling up to 2.5 hours. Step 1. Prepare the ingredients. Let's start with the meat and broth. First, rinse the beef under cold water to remove any bone fragments. Place the beef in a large pot and cover it with 4 cups of water or beef broth. Bring it to a boil over high heat. Once it starts boiling, reduce the heat to low and let it simmer for about 1 hour. During the first 15 minutes, be sure to skim off any foam that forms on the surface. This foam consists of impurities and proteins that coagulate and should be removed to keep the broth clear. Now, let's dive into the science behind what's happening in the pot. Heating the meat denatures proteins, which means they unfold from their natural structure. This process makes the meat more tender and allows flavors to infuse. Denaturation is caused by the disruption of hydrogen bonds and hydrophobic interactions. Additionally, boiling involves convective heat transfer, where the hot liquid circulates and transfers heat to the meat. The heat energy Q required to raise the temperature of the water can be calculated using the equation Q equals m times C times dt, where m is the mass of the water in grams, C is the specific heat capacity of water, which is 4.18 joules per gram degrees Celsius, and dt is the temperature change in degrees Celsius. For example, if you start with 4 cups of water, approximately 946 grams, at 20 degrees Celsius and want to bring it to 100 degrees Celsius, the energy needed would be approximately 316.5 kilojoules. Next, let's chop the vegetables. Start with the beets and carrots. Peel and grate them using a grater. Grating increases the surface area, allowing for faster cooking and better flavor integration. Next, peel and dice the potato into small cubes. Potatoes add starch and thickness to the soup. Then finely chop the onion. Onions provide a savory base for the soup. Shred the cabbage thinly. Cabbage adds bulk and texture to the soup. Lastly, mince the garlic. Garlic adds a subtle aromatic flavor to the soup. Step 2. Cook the vegetables. First, let's sauté the vegetables. Heat the oil in a skillet over medium heat. Then, add the grated beets and carrots. Cook these for about 5 minutes, stirring occasionally to prevent burning. Cooking the beets and carrots in oil helps to soften them and release their natural sweetness. Next, stir in the tomato paste and vinegar and cook for another 5 minutes. The tomato paste adds depth of flavor and richness, while the vinegar helps to retain the bright red color of the beets. Now, let's delve into a bit of science. When vegetables are sautéed, the Maillard reaction occurs, which is a chemical reaction between amino acids and reducing sugars that gives browned foods their distinctive flavor. This reaction generally occurs above 140 degrees Celsius. Additionally, the acidity of vinegar prevents the breakdown of betalain pigments in beets, maintaining their vibrant color. Betalains are sensitive to pH, and an acidic environment stabilizes them. Moving on, add the chopped onion to the skillet and cook until it's translucent, about 5 minutes. Cooking onions releases their natural sugars, which caramelize and add sweetness to the dish. Lastly, add the minced garlic and cook for another minute. Remember, garlic cooks quickly and can burn easily, so it should be added towards the end of sautéing. Step 3. Combine and simmer. Add the sautéed vegetables, beets, carrots, onions, and garlic to the pot with the beef and broth. Then add the diced potatoes, shredded cabbage, and bay leaf. Stir to combine everything well. For seasoning, start with about 1 teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of pepper, adjusting as necessary. Now, a little more science for you. Adding salt helps to draw out moisture and flavors from the vegetables through osmosis, which is the movement of water from an area of low solute concentration to an area of high solute concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Next, bring the pot to a boil by increasing the heat to high. Once boiling, reduce the heat to low and let it simmer for about 30 minutes or until the potatoes and cabbage are tender. Make sure to stir occasionally to prevent sticking and to ensure even cooking. Let's delve into the science of simmering. Simmering involves conductive heat transfer, where heat moves directly from the hot liquid to the ingredients. The heat energy Q required to raise the temperature of the ingredients can be calculated using the equation Q equals sign mc dt. Here, m represents the mass of the ingredients in grams. C is the specific heat capacity, approximately 3.9 joules per gram degree Celsius for mixed ingredients, and dt is the temperature change in degrees Celsius. For example, if the mass of the combined ingredients, broth, meat, vegetables, is 2 kilograms or 2,000 grams, and we need to raise the temperature from 25 degrees Celsius to 95 degrees Celsius, the calculation would be Q equals sign 2,000 grams times 3.9 joules per gram degree Celsius times 70 degrees Celsius, which equals 546,000 joules or approximately 546 kilojoules. This is the amount of energy needed to raise the temperature of the ingredients to the simmering point. Now for the final touches. First, using tongs or a slotted spoon, remove the beef from the pot. Shred the meat into bite-sized pieces using 2 forks, discarding any bones, and then return the shredded meat to the pot. Next, remove and discard the bay leaf. It has done its job of infusing flavor into the soup. Taste the soup and adjust the seasoning with more salt and pepper if needed. Scientifically speaking, shredding the meat increases the surface area, allowing more flavor to infuse back into the soup. Now let's serve. Ladle the hot borscht into bowls. Garnish each bowl with fresh dill and a dollop of sour cream. The dill adds a fresh herbal note, while the sour cream adds richness and a slight tang. Speaking of sour cream, it contains fat that can emulsify with the liquid in the soup, creating a smoother texture through a process known as emulsification. To garnish and serve, ladle the hot borscht into bowls. Garnish each bowl with fresh dill and a dollop of sour cream. The dill adds a fresh herbal note, while the sour cream adds richness and a slight tang. On a scientific note, the sour cream's fat content can emulsify with the liquid in the soup. This process involves fat, water, and an emulsifier coming together to form an emulsion, resulting in a smoother texture. Let's summarize the key points of our cooking journey. Broth making. We've extracted flavors and nutrients from meat and bones through protein denaturation and convective heat transfer. We calculated the energy needed using the formula Q equals sign mc dt. Vegetable preparation. We grated and chopped for faster cooking and better integration, enhancing flavor through the Maillard reaction and caramelization. Color retention. We used vinegar to maintain the vibrant color of beets by preventing pigment breakdown. Flavor development. Through sautéing and simmering, we've enhanced and melded flavors, utilizing osmosis for seasoning and conductive heat transfer for even cooking. Final adjustments. We ensured even distribution of ingredients and emulsified for a smoother texture. Enjoy your scientifically informed, homemade classic meat-based borscht, a comforting and flavorful dish perfect for any season.